Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. My name is Mary Beth, and I'm Jill's assistant, and I'm here to introduce Jill. Jill Lublin is an international speaker on the topics of radical influence, publicity, networking, kindness, and referrals. She's the author of 4 best-selling books, including Get Noticed, Get Referrals, and co-author of Guerrilla Publicity and Networking Magic. Her latest book, The Profit of Kindness, went #1 in 4 categories. Jill is a master strategist on how to position your business for more profitability and more visibility in the marketplace. She is CEO of a strategic consulting firm and has over 25 years experience working with over 100,000 people, plus the national and international media. Jill teaches her publicity crash courses, both live events and now virtual, and consults and speaks all over the world. She also helps authors to create book deals with major publishers and agents, as well as obtain foreign rights deals. And without further ado, welcome, Jill.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Appreciate you and appreciate all of you making the time to come on today to support yourself with getting more publicity in these times. Now, here's what I want to say. You know, we all know a lot's going on right now. And what I want to share with you is I have many thought leaders, people in different kinds of businesses who are now getting more publicity than ever before. Why? Because they've, like you have to do for your business, they've pivoted their message. And so I want you to be thinking about that and hold that as a vision for yourself about pivoting your message as we move forward with today's webinar. And I tell you and support you with a new message that will help you get your name out there bigger and better. Because I have to tell you, I know this is a weird thing to say, and God knows I'm so praying for all of those people who have been, all of us, so affected. But here's what I also know. This is a time more than ever that has opened up and blossomed for you who are on this webinar, who are listening, to actually get your message out there, seriously. And what do I mean by that? I mean that by shifting your message slightly, by also looking to see where you can fit in with the message of now, then here's what happens. You will get in the news in ways that perhaps we never thought about before. You know, for example, my parenting coach, she hasn't written a book, just helps people with parenting issues. Guess what she's getting in for? How to deal with your kids in pandemic times, right? And I remember one of my clients who's a business consultant, she all of a sudden has 3 kids she's homeschooling. She goes, I don't know about math. What do I know about math? And that became a story for, how do you manage your business and raise your children? And, of course, that's an interesting discussion right now. The relationship coach I have, who's actually also written a self-published book, what's interesting for her is that we have her now going out with a story about how to deal with your spouse, how to say the things you need to say in this time of quarantine. So I want you to think about, what is it that you could be stretching your message to, expanding your message to, and to say to you that I want you to think of publicity like a gardening process. You need to plant seeds. What do I mean by that? I mean that we are literally planting seeds. And what I know about the power of publicity is that those of you who are in action now, and I mean in action, I don't mean like roll over in the fetal position. I mean stay in action, focused, because here's the great news I have for you. Your publicity moves ahead 3, 6, and 9 months. What do I mean by that? I mean, we plant seeds now that grow 9 months from now. When I wrote Guerrilla Publicity, I was privileged to talk to media across the country. And one of the things they all agreed about is that you need to be planning way ahead on your publicity. And I just think that's something to really keep in mind, so that you're planting seeds now for a beautiful blossoming garden in 3, 6, and 9 months. And it does come at different times. With The Profit of Kindness, my newest book, we started publicity 1 year before it came out. And you know why? I've been in Forbes magazine twice, Inc. magazine twice, right? On the cover of an Australian magazine, on the cover of an Iranian magazine, and over 75 podcasts and radio shows, not to mention 7 Fox TV news segments literally in the first week. And the reason that happened is because we did so much planning. So, you know, the truth is, whether you have a book or not doesn't really even matter. What I want you to know is that we're planning ahead and planting your seeds so that you have a firm and wonderful foundation. So I welcome you today to your future and to your present for obtaining the power of publicity so that your recognition grows. In fact, I'd love to show you some things that I know publicity does, because what it does is brings you high return on investment. So Mary Beth, let's go straight to that slide about what publicity does. And let's start with number one, high ROI, right? Because it also brings you increased prospects and more sales, increased trust, and more credibility. It gives you more visibility in the marketplace and more clients, more money, and more exposure in the marketplace. And I only mean the good kind. And so, you know, what I really want to support you with publicity and get really shifting the frame for you today is that it's really all about your message. Publicity is all about your message. And interestingly enough, look at that word message on the slide. And the first two letters are me. The last four letters are sage. In the word message is me, sage. I find that fascinating. Also in the word message is mess. And that's what happens when you don't get your message right, because you, my friends, are experts and you must solve problems. So I want to give you my super duper easy formula for how to put yourself out there with a message that's powerful. And let me share with you that a gentleman I worked with in Australia who was in my publicity course, we do this formula. We actually write it out and practice it. And he actually did this formula and ended up with over 250 likes when he posted it on his social media by following this formula. So listen up, because you can use this formula in your networking, in your publicity, in your email message, in your social media, when you're being interviewed. There are so many fabulous and multi-uses for this that I really want you to pay attention to how this will work for you. And by the way, just a reminder, feel free as I'm talking, as questions come to you, feel free to put them in the chat room and any place else that you need that will support you. Okay, so the formula is this: the problem today is, and then you're going to fill in the blank. You're going to fill in the blank, hopefully with statistics or some way that your problem affects others. See, what we don't want, my friends, is what I call I, us, and we statements. And so what does that mean? It's not about you and what you do. It's about the problem you solve in the marketplace. And that's where we lead to solutions. And I want you to give 3 solutions to people so that they know what you do easily and simply. But really what you're going to do is you're going to give them the golden nuggets. And what I like to say is appetizers, not full meals, right? What do I mean by that? I mean that you want to give people value and benefit, and don't give away the whole store. So when I wrote Guerrilla Publicity, I was privileged to talk to Entrepreneur Magazine, for example. You know, imagine what it would do for your business to be in Entrepreneur Magazine. And one of the things she mentioned is that you must be concise and precise. With Fast Company, another great publication for businesses, the editor there, when I interviewed her for Guerrilla Publicity, she said to me, you know, what I need is value and benefit. And that's why I always repeat that, right? That you have to be giving value and benefit. And what everybody always agrees with is it's what's in it for their readers, viewers, and listeners. You know, Mary Beth mentioned in my bio that I help people get book deals, and that's without a word written. In fact, if you go look up Pivot by Adam Markell, a wonderful book on Simon & Schuster, I got him the agent who got him the 6-figure book deal without a word written, did I mention? And that book has done beautiful for his career. A woman named Susie Carter is coming out with a great book on profit on your business, also from Simon & Schuster, and just so exciting. Some of the things that have been happening for my clients. And I will tell you, as I've been pitching books for, gosh, I'm going on 19 years now, to major publishers and agents, you know, what's interesting is they're asking about what's your influence, right? And so that leads to publicity. That's what publicity is about. And so as you keep thinking about your message, let's go to your ooh, ah factor. And this is something that will help you create more visibility, more connection, more support about who you are. I call it your ooh, ah factor. And so as we're looking at that, I want you to be thinking about what is it about you that makes other people go ooh and ah. And with that, it's also about using everything you've got. And we spelled out ooh, ah factor on the slide, right? Just in case you couldn't. And then we want to use what I like to call everything you've got. So what does that mean? It could mean that perhaps you're using, as for instance, I had a gentleman in my Los Angeles course, publicity course one time. He is Pakistani. And he said, oh my gosh, Jill, I never thought about using that. And by Googling, he found out that there were 5 Pakistani newsletters in the Los Angeles area. And he actually got into 4 of them, actually reaching more than 40,000 people. Okay, so I think that's really something you want to be using. How could you be using everything you've got? Nina, for example, my client in Germany, actually, she's one of my VIP clients, and she's an expat. And one of the things she found was their communities of expats. And so now she's using everything she's got to create and claim more publicity. In fact, I'd love to show you how I use this in my own career with the Profit of Kindness, right? So check it out. When Profit of Kindness came out, as much as I'd love to say, ooh, I'm so excited, you know, we got a major book deal. And, you know, it was exciting, but truthfully, it's more exciting to me than to the media, right? So I would do with myself anything I do with any client, and that is, what's the message that's meaningful and relevant to others? And what I realized at the time is the United States of America was really the divided states of America. And by the way, continues so ongoingly. And so the issue was, how can we bring kindness to the divided states of America? And that was the press release I sent out. And that press release got picked up by 7 major market TV interviews, including Fox News in the first 10 days, CBS News morning shows, which I did all via satellite, right? Fox News, I actually went in to multiple studios. But, you know, here's the interesting thing. So, for example, when I went in the Las Vegas Fox News studio, she said to me, the producer said to me, so Jill, would you like to talk about kindness in business, kindness in politics, or kindness in the world? Like generally, what would you like to talk about? See, the cool thing is that once you make the media, the truth is you control the message far more. And by sending out the right message, we were able to actually touch people with a message that was far more interesting. So for instance, 75 radio and podcast interviews, article placements in Inc. and Selling Power and CEO, right? And so with that, what we want to look at is, how can you be putting your message out there so that your message matters consistently and persistently? At the bottom of the slide, you'll see 1/3 of the rest of the press that I got using my everything I've got, using the ooh, ah factor. And in fact, I want to share with you that now, because the seed was planted for me to do kindness circles, that from now on I'm doing kindness circles events. I know on the slide it says April 16th. Mary Beth is putting in the chat the next kindness circle is May 20th. And how you can go for free as my guest is to go to jilllublin.com/kindness circles, and we will help you be more kind in your business. It's great and it's a lot of fun, and I hope that you can join us for that. So I think that that's a real key. I'd love to come back, and I want to see some of you and hear from some of you how you might use everything you've got, how you might use the power of your message to get your name out there. Who'd like to come on? You can just raise your hand, or you can raise your hand through your iPad or computer and let us know that you'd like to talk to us, and we'll come and help you very specifically. Who'd like to play? Now is your good moment for you to get coached and to get some support.
Well, my mom always said, if nobody else is volunteering, step up. So I'll step up. What do we want to do, Jill?
Thanks so much, Dan, and great for saying yes. I'll teach you in this webinar. It's very important to just say yes all the time. So what I want you to do is answer any of the next questions. A, are you clear about what your message is?
No.
Okay, great. Well, you're in the right place. So here's the thing. Your message is, I see you have some books, right?
Yes.
Right, Dan?
As you said Saturday, I always hold it up next to your face, but I've got it there in the backdrop. The Winsome Way, the book I finished in the fall.
And Dan, can I just ask you what would be a message? What would be the problem today that you would say to people? What would be the problem today?
The problem today, and I think it's a societal one, but it shows up in politics or anywhere around us, is that, as you kind of mentioned with regards to kindness, we live somewhat in a woesome, look for the bad, try to pick out the problem society, where people go around and they're not cheerful. They're always trying to gain an advantage. We're in a world where somebody else, you have to look bad so that I can look good, instead of, in the Winsome Way, and my message is to discover the extraordinary in those around you. So the problem is we live somewhat in a negative world today.
Okay, so wait, so Dan, I'm going to stop you there because you're doing good, but there's a lot of words in there. So one of the things
that's what I said, no.
That's good. Well, this is part of it, right? We learn and we grow, and we learn and we grow, and that's important. So thank you for taking time and being here today and saying yes to you, because you're right. The problem is people are going around and it's a negative society, right? And there are lots of issues. So I would start with that. So there's a lot of words you used going in, and I would start more with, there's the problem today is there's a lot of negativity, right? And I want to give you 3 winsome ways. Do you remember on that first webinar I talked about I use my book titles for those who don't have books. I want you to use some kind of, maybe it might be your coaching program, maybe it's the name of your business. I want you to use some word about what you offer into your message. So in Dan's case, he might say, I want to give you some winsome ways to feel better every day. Ooh, that was pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then you want to give people 3 things to do. So you can, you can work on that a little bit and talk about and think about for you what you would say, Dan, to others that would be simple and easy. So this is the thing I want to share with you all. You're using what I like to call 5-year-old language. And I want you to be consistent and persistent in your message with 5-year-old language. Does that help you, Dan?
It does. Yeah.
Wonderful.
But I really need to get better at. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And part of it is be in the practice and learn the right way to do it so that you're consistent. But here's the other truth. I want you all to be really persistent with your message because, can I just tell you, you're going to get bored of it. You are. And so that doesn't mean to change it. I mean, you know, remember the Marlboro Man or the Pillsbury Doughboy or Casper the Friendly Ghost, right? These are all images that are in your mind, hopefully, and in places in your psyche that you have like immediately something associated with them. Okay, so so for all of you, I want you to be what I like to call persistent and consistent with your message. That's a real key, and I think that's really good. So I see Lorraine wants to ask a question, and Mary Beth, if you see anyone else, let me know. Please, Lorraine, come on and ask a question.
Hi, Jill. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. As soon as I came on, you said, "Well, you're going to get bored with it." I'm at a point now where I've been doing coaching and I'm a marriage, family, and child counselor for 25 years. And so I've stopped doing one-on-one coaching because I just can't bear to listen anymore. And so I'm doing more group programs, but it's more around being peaceful and getting out of fear. That's the problem today, is everybody's afraid. And you know how to let the fear move through you. But when I'm hearing about promoting, I've been on NBC for 2.5 years. I've done a lot of promoting. I'm really tired of it. I'm tired of traditional marketing and publicity. What do you do when you just hit the wall? Like I hear Joe Dispenza say his same spiel over and over again, and I think, how can he just keep repeating himself? I'm just at this place. I was wondering if you had any you know, fresh advice for me.
Okay, so listen, I've been doing what I do for over 25 years, okay? Yeah. And I get what you're saying. I think we all hit that place where it's like you get bored of yourself, so to speak. But here's the interesting thing. Number one, I when this pandemic hit, I thought, oh my gosh, what an opportunity for people. And I got reinvigorated, re-excited. And so here's what I want to say to you. You have an amazing message for right now. For right now. Why? Because you're a marriage and family therapist. All of a sudden, people are living with their spouse they might not even hardly talk to before. You know, I usually travel half the month speaking and training somewhere. I'm home with my spouse, right? That's new. How do we communicate? You have keys to the kingdom right now. So I'm going to suggest to you that perhaps you need a new program. I'm glad you're doing group programs now. That should refresh and excite you. And I would look for, you know, new ways to serve people. But I really want to encourage you that right now is a beautiful time for you to feed your business, to support others with what you know, which is how to get along in a quarantine, what to do when you're about to, you know, kill your spouse because they, you know.
I'd say it's more about because I've really run the course on therapy, but it's more about just the personal relationship with yourself and how to move through fear and not own it and not get in a tizzy and go into anxiety and depression. That's really what I'm interested in, is helping people with that piece.
Beautiful.
So how could you suggest that I spin that? Not so much how to get along with their family and kids. I've reached my limit on that. So yeah, that would be, go ahead.
So I would encourage you to honestly still use it only for maybe another week or even like 2 weeks, just because it's present. And, or if you absolutely don't want to, you can certainly use how to deal with fear, because certainly that's another major issue for people. I just want you driving them someplace. So this is the thing, when you're in media, for all of you, you need to drive people someplace, right? You need to make it so that people have a way to connect with you and to know what you're doing. And so that's a real key. So I think for you, it's a freshness, it's a reinvigoration, and it's a, let's, you know, then pitch something different called how to deal with fear. And it certainly is a major topic, and a lot of people need some help with it right now.
So maybe a free webinar on how to deal with your family now that you're in close quarters.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes, I would love you to do that. And I actually would love you to pitch the media about that too. Since you are a marriage and family therapist, you have the credibility, and that's good. And then you can pivot to the next piece, which may be in 30 days. It's called, now how do you deal with fear? People are still going to be in fear in 30 days, not going away. Life has changed. And some people are afraid and want to hang on to the old ways. You can
Yeah.
be a leader and a voice for the new way.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah. And I guess I have another question, and that is right now I'm just doing boosting my live streams for, very nominal, $5 at a time. But is there any way to get your word out without spending a lot of money on promotion?
Well, I'm all about that. I wrote guerrilla publicity, right? So my whole thing is easy, simple things to do that continue to get you publicity. So one of the big things is getting your message right. And then we can, go deep on some of the actual strategies. I do them in my publicity course, and I'm gonna let you know pandemic pricing on that, but it's no nonsense. The thing is, get it done now is what I'm saying to you. And use everything from podcasts and blogs. Here's a great tip for all of you that I think will really support you, and that is go into iTunes and type in your a keyword. So, it might be fear for you, might be depression, might be, for many of you, it's different, right? And mine is business, mine is publicity, and then see what pops up. Who's doing podcasts on what? So I'm getting myself and clients who are business consultants, for example, in a whole bunch of podcasts that are business oriented, right? And maybe it's a particular piece for each of you about how to fill in the blank. In your case might be how to not be fearful in business. Dan, how to be, how not to be winsome in business. Sometimes it is a reverse message. So sometimes we want to go in with a positive forward message, and other times we want to reverse message ourselves in. Does that make sense? And I think that's a key for some of you. And I'll take one more question, and then we'll let someone else ask.
Thanks, Jill.
Go ahead.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Who else might have a question? Anything I can help you with?
Yes, I hope so. This is Daniela. Hi, Jill.
Hello,
I'm from
Daniela.
Lublin Art. Hi, you may know Mark Lombard. He invited me to join today.
Fantastic.
Yes, so as you may know, what we do is we work with seniors primarily in a nursing home setting. And right now, nursing homes are on lockdown, so we can't do our work the traditional way. So what we did, we quickly pivoted, so we are able to bring our program remotely to the seniors. So
I love that.
So I've been thinking about the message, and as you explained it, and focusing on what's the huge problem now. So this is what I wrote. So maybe you can coach me on this and tweak it if you may. So I have this as the main message is how to fight social isolation for seniors, or how to bring life-enriching virtual museum visit to seniors every day.
So the problem today, Daniela, is that seniors cannot get out of their homes or facilities and actually feel more isolated than ever. So it's take it bigger. And by the way, for those listening, I want you to keep thinking, how can my message be bigger, more expanded, or in some cases, more narrow? But notice what I did with her was I took her question of what I call I, us, we statements, and I made it bigger and more expanded. Does that make sense? So it's not about just you and what you do, but like we're starting to think about our seniors, right? I have an 85-year-old friend who, by the way, was the inspiration for the Profit of Kindness. And she's in a home. I haven't been able to see her in 6 weeks now. And I went over, by her window and waved to her and showed her cute little hearts and talked to her through the window 6 feet apart, right? I mean, that's how I've been seeing my sweet 85-year-old friend of more than a quarter century, meaning I've known her that long. So, so you want to be giving ways to help others. And I think that's a real key.
So your advice is to broaden it as opposed to just what we do and speak to in general about seniors. So something like social isolation is already a problem for millions of elderly Americans, and the pandemic has made things worse.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. So then, Daniela, then you give 3 things for people to do. So remember, as you're giving solutions for all of you, you want to be giving real things for people to do and tell them what to do. So if I may, I'm going to actually demonstrate through use of my message and tell you how that works. Right? So mine takes like 15 seconds, very purposely. When I work with people, usually that you got about 30 seconds and then we can narrow it down, right? So I would say the problem today is 4 out of 5 businesses will go out of business because you have no clue how to create publicity without spending a fortune. I want to give you 3 guerrilla publicity ideas today for how to get your message in the media. The first way to get noticed is to use your ooh, ah factor. The second way is to create the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. And the third way is focus on networking magic and show up in your communities at least twice a month for name and face recognition. And that, my friends, is my message. Now, if you notice, it was really simple. And there was 5-year-old language. I've been doing publicity now for over 25 years. That was 5-year-old language. And I also gave you very actually advanced strategies in a very simplified format. I also used you language, which I want you to do. I want you to keep using you language, keep using you language. And on top of that, I used every book title. Yes, I did. Now, you don't have to write a book to do that. You can use, like I said, your coaching programs, your consulting programs, the name of your business, whatever works for each of you. I want you to start using at least 1 word from an offering that you have. Very powerful strategy. I promise you it works. All right, check it out. I want to show you what Entrepreneur Magazine told me when I interviewed them for guerrilla publicity. And thank you all for your great questions. So Entrepreneur Magazine, which of course you want to be in that, picture this, what would it be like for you to be in Entrepreneur Magazine? Well, let me just say that one of my clients who distributes a product got a mention in their blog, okay, in their blog, and her $25 product got, let's see, was it, it was, let me just say she made $15,000 that day. Oh, that's right. It was a $25 product and she sold 600 of them. Okay. So check it out. She made $15,000 from being featured in a blog from Entrepreneur Magazine. I'd say that powerful publicity works. So what Entrepreneur Magazine said to me is that you want professional presentation. So you want a press release that's easy to read. You want also that your artwork and a sample, for instance, if you have it and if it's appropriate, you know, get them that, right? Here's what else you want. You want it to be relevant and memorable. And here's what's really important. You got to be earnest, right? And especially in today's wonderful world, people want authenticity. And here's a really important point. So the June issue of Entrepreneur Magazine, the production is March. And if the production for the June issue is March, okay, what is the writer's deadline? January 15th. This is from the editor of Entrepreneur Magazine. The writer's deadline is January 15th. So what we want to look at with this is, what is it that you need to be pitching? And remember, I said to you at the beginning of this webinar, you need to be pitching 3, 6, and 9 months ahead, right? And then yet some of you that I've heard from already on this wonderful webinar, you have great topics for right now, these troubled times, about relationship, about living with your spouse and wonderful people. I mean, you know, my neighbors I hear fighting across the way. Why? Because people are so with each other, they don't even know what to do with each other anymore, right? How do you deal with communication in troubled times? Could be a really important topic for some of you. You know, so keep looking at how you can use your topic for right now. And those of you that maybe isn't relevant quite for that, I want you to be thinking, how are you growing your publicity garden for 3, 6, and 9 months from now, like I'm showing you in Entrepreneur Magazine, and the opportunity to get into a major publication that would just be perfect for all of you. Okay? Now, the thing that's so key that I really want to underline for you is you must say yes. No matter what the media is asking you, no matter what they're going to connect to you, I want you just saying yes. Let me share with you a woman in one of my publicity courses. She is a trainer and she helps people with communication and cooking. All right, now that's super cool. And NBC Nightly News called her because actually they were working on a Valentine's Day story. And they wanted her to do a piece about aphrodisiac cooking. I remember her calling me up, freaking out, and telling me that when the NBC Nightly News producer said, I want you to do a piece on aphrodisiac cooking, she said to me, Jill, all I could think of was A, I don't know what aphrodisiac cooking is. B, I don't know how to spell it. And C, all I could hear was your voice in the back of my head, because I've been trained by you, just say yes, just say yes, just say yes. So out of my mouth, as much as I was scared, right? Because maybe you can be scared sometimes. So what? There's ways to learn, and just simple, easy yeses will get you to your success. And because she said yes to NBC Nightly News, let me share with you that that wonderful woman now has a 4.5-minute segment from saying yes. And you know what happened? She got 4.5 minutes on NBC Nightly News, and the value on that is $720,000. Had she paid for that 4-minute segment? But did she pay? No, it was completely free. And that's the power of what publicity does for you. What I'd like to do is invite you to a way to work with me that is so simple and easy. And I'm doing some amazing pandemic pricing for you. And I'd love to invite you to actually get your publicity done. Like, no nonsense, no kidding. We're going to get it done. So I have a 1-day virtual class. We actually roll up our sleeves and you get personalized attention in a small class environment. All over Zoom, all virtual. You don't have to travel anywhere. We will craft your message so that the press embraces it. And I will give you and spill all my secrets so that you know what to do to write an effective press release and what to do to get the media to say yes to you. We're going to write a bio. We're going to actually get this stuff done. We're going to actually do 3 documents in the course, like no nonsense, get it done, 3 documents and 4 templates that you can use forever so that you're media savvy no matter what your project is. I have people come back to me, they say, I have been using this information for every project I do. Thank you so much. And you will strategically plan your publicity campaign. This is a get it done course. I'm giving you templates. We're actually filling them in. We'll do breakout rooms and discussions. It's a lot of fun, and it's a way to really get your publicity done so that you're smartly, literally putting your stake in the ground so that your publicity is done powerfully, simply, and actually in a way that will work to get the media to say yes to you. So here's the deal, my friends. If you went to publicitycrashcourse.com, and please do, there's a lot of testimonials on there, great things that you can see. You'll see that the investment is $1,297. So what I've done, and I'll tell you honestly that sometimes I've sold it for half price when I speak. And what I'm doing now is what I call pandemic pricing, and it's going to $197. Now, $197, just so you know, is the bring a friend rate that I usually charge for people who are enrolled at full price. It's $197 for all of you. And how you get that is you go to publicitycrashcourse.com/registration. You enter the promo code Stay Visible. It's case sensitive. It's all one word. And you choose a date. We've got great dates coming up. Mary Beth will put it in the chat too. May 13th, May 26th, June 9th, coming right up. to really get your publicity done. And I'll tell you something, honestly, my 1 hour fee is $500 an hour. $197, you get me all day, just you, me, and a couple of good friends, meaning it's a small, intimate course, and we're going to help you stay visible and with real practical, tactical, no nonsense, get her done publicity tips so that your publicity works and gets handled. This code will stay good for 48 hours, okay? Stay visible, lowercase, case sensitive. And it would just be a delight and a blessing to support you. And I am going to come back and yes, take some questions. Absolutely. I just wanted to let some of you know, because I know you've been asking how you can actually work with me. And so this publicity course is a great way to get it done easily and simply. I look forward to supporting you. So let's come on back to screen. And Mary Beth, I know we had a question. And who was that had a question?
Susie, I do.
Hi, Susie. How can I help you?
My question pertains to how best to reach the media. I am a stress relief facilitator. I am currently launching a second edition of my award-winning stress management audiobook that helps to soothe stress and sleep. There's a 10-minute brain vacation if you just have a short period of time. So we've used Cision to get a list, and we have pitched both sending media kits and emailing. We've sent out press releases using PR Newswire. I'm wondering if those are the best ways to be doing this, or if you have other suggestions to be reaching the media.
Great. And Susie, do you think you have a fabulous, important message for now? Yes, you do.
I sure do.
Yes, you do. Absolutely.
I was listening at the beginning of your presentation and saying, yes. Well, stress is pretty popular all the time, but right now people are really struggling. Yeah.
Yes, and they need your help more than ever. So you do have some good strategies. I will tell you at the course, there are about 3 others I'm going to share with you that you didn't actually name. And I do save that because it's my privy information. Let me just share with you. But I will tell you that you're on the right track with most of them. The shortcut I'd probably suggest that I actually did mention as a fun bonus tip for all of you is start looking for additional podcasts that you could talk right now to and get booked on, and that's going through iTunes, putting your keywords in, and making new ways to reach people. I think that will actually support you too, and I think that would make a difference and would help. Okay, and then in the course we are going to talk about how to actually create some holidays and some other strategies, as well as some other resources for getting your press release out there. And we're going to actually make sure that your press release is reflecting, because honestly, if your press release isn't reflecting the right message, they're not going to pick it up. And then, of course, follow-up is key too. And Susie, if you're not following up, that may be a bit of an issue. So that's another piece I want to give you during the course, is how to get team together. And we actually have a gift of team for you to actually get things done on your behalf, really inexpensively and very affordably. So follow up is key. Follow up is key.
Thank you. Okay. Yep.
You're welcome. My pleasure. And is there anyone else who has a question or anything else I can support you with in this moment? I'll just take a moment and see if I see a hand up or a question in the chat. Okay, good. I see a hand up. And Mary Beth, while the hand's up, she's got a slide up there. If you've got a book idea or something you want to talk to me about, please let's connect. You can go to jilllublin.com/schedule, and Mary Beth will put that in the chat too. And it'd be great to have you there. Okay, go ahead, please. Oops, I heard a question.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was
please.
me, Nina. So my dream actually is to branch out into PR. So like to learn what you are doing. Would you recommend me as a place to expand my knowledge to start with your books?
Well, I invite you to take my course because it'll give you the step-by-step. Absolutely. And Guerrilla Publicity is a great book. Absolutely. Please get that. And come into the course. It'll be really helpful for you. No nonsense. Get it done. Very practical. And by the way, if any of you need payments, we have payment options available too. So I'm excited for you on learning and growing. And you know, I've been in the business 25 years. So I think I have some very good strategies that are also new and now and important to follow, as well as, you know, some traditional things that still work. Because here's the truth. I know reporters, and reporters are always still looking for great information. And I'm going to give you some things in the course about how to follow reporters and how to become on social media the go-to expert that people are seeking. And so that's a real key too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Mary Beth, we have any more? Question. I see Danella has a question. Please.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. Yes. So since our message is specific to the senior care industry, would you also recommend that we follow that strategy and pitch the message out to the broad public as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is what I'm saying, Danella, is it's not just about, you know, what you do, but about how you serve seniors. So my answer is yes. You definitely want to, this is for all of you, take your message and keep it as broad as possible. Keep your message extremely connected and obviously ongoing, so that you're continuing to serve others with the information you have. Right? And so our stress person and our relationship person, right? You have the thing for right now. Winsome Dan, right? At Danella, we've got major PR going on around seniors and how they can't leave, not only they can't leave their facilities, but they're actually dying because they're in these facilities. So I want you to zoom in and talk about that, be confrontive about that. And those of you who can be confrontive in the moment, and help people with, you know, the stress, the relationship, and the things that are going on, now is your moment. I couldn't be happier for many of you on this webinar that I can see and that I've heard that you have a message that's going to work right now. And I want to be that voice for you, that you have a message that's going to work right now. All right? And that's what I think is so powerful for each one of you. So I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for spending your time with me. I know your time is valuable and I honor that. I want to say I'm excited for those of you who are going to continue on and work with us. You again, go to publicitycrashcourse.com/registration. Use the code STAYVISIBLE, all lowercase, case sensitive, stay visible. And that'll give you our pandemic pricing of only $197. If you need payments, you let us know. If there's any other way we can support you, you let us know. And I'm just honored and privileged to be able to be with all of you today, to know that you are the message makers for today and planting your seeds for tomorrow. Okay, I invite you to come into the kindness circles May 20th with me, completely free. Let's help each other in our business with kindness. And I'm looking forward to those I'm going to support in the publicity course and can't wait to see you then. Take good care and stay well, stay blessed, everybody. Have a beautiful, blessed rest of your day or rest of your evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.